I'm just waiting how many people are still joining, so we can do after that. So, shall we start? Or just waiting 5 minutes more, so maybe more participants will join.
Yeah, Deepika, make sure at least 25 to 30 minimum should be there.
Yeah. So now we
Though
have
more than
21
150 have
people.
registered.
Yes. So now we have 21 people. So just we can wait 5 minutes more. So we'll
2
start.
minutes more should be enough. I think people will be coming in.
Yeah, yes, sir.
2
Yeah.
to 3 minutes. Because main thing is that people should listen to Dr. Pramod Pandey. Our initial comments are not very important, actually. So we can start in 2 minutes to save time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have time. There is like.
Right. Oh, I'm perfectly fine. Just let me know when I need to start. And
Yes, sir. Better.
so weather in Bangkok is right now it's a hot or it's still mild?
Slightly good training season. Sometime hot if you're going outside, but inside is like quite bad.
Mumbai must be hot. Doctor, this is
I think they should play on video. I think shall we start on 24?
Yeah, we are about 25, nearly. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, sir, I'm starting. Just wait 1 minute more. So maybe. Shall we start, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead,
Okay,
Deepika.
thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished speaker, panelist, speaker, and guest. On the behalf of Asia Pacific Association of Agriculture Research Institute, I'm honored to welcome you. Just wait, just Kharat.
Yes.
Are you admit the like participant?
Yeah, I admit everyone. No
Okay,
worry.
thank you. Okay.
Just go ahead.
So I'm honored to, on the behalf of Asia Pacific Association of Agriculture Research Institute, APARI, I'm honored to welcome you to this is very important session of the Community of Practice on Food Loss and Waste. FLAW Corp. I'm Deepika Trivedi, host today. This session, we are grateful to have your presence as we gather virtually to share knowledge, discuss strategies, and cooperation in our shared missions to reduce how do we reduce food loss and animal waste in the Asia Pacific regions. Before we begin today's session, I would like to briefly reflect on the success of our previous community of practice, which one is very impactful and which is urgent and often overlooked issues. And the title was The Silent Famine: Asia Pacific Hidden Emergency of Food Loss and Waste. And this session was alarming level of food loss, waste, and across the region, often occurring unnoticed, carrying how do we can implement food security, nutrition, and environmental livelihood. So we were privileged to have that session was opening, launching Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, Executive Director of APARI, as a keynote speaker, and the we are making powerful slogan, Flaw on the Floor, which has stuck a deep chord with participants reminding us and the true flaw in our food system lies how we fail to manage, and waste and losses. And today's sessions directly and momentum deeply into one of the most impactful contribution about waste generated from animal agriculture and its relationship to the GSD emission, how to produce GSD, like how to we can control. And the topic was, it is very urgent. The topic is new strategies on handling waste in animal agriculture system for controlling GHG emissions. As we know, animal agriculture waste contribute more, like half of the world, which is contribute significant greenhouse gas emissions, in particular through which is gas on methane and nitrous oxide in the region where livelihoods to plays a vital role in food security and livelihood, which is addressing the challenges through sustainable and innovation solution, is pressing our priority. And now it's my great pleasure to invite Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, Executive Director of APARI, to share as a welcoming remark and opening ma'am. Dr. Ravi, over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika. Greetings to everyone from Bangkok. And as Deepika mentioned, this is a very important community of practice, which we have just initiated 2 months ago. And just to give you a brief background, APARI has initiated community of practices. There are 3 of them from the month of May last year. We initially had a community of practice on biopesticide, which was a part of sustainability plan of our WTO project on promotion of biopesticide for facilitation of trade in the region, and which is doing a great success. Then we had initiated a very important another community of practice on public-private partnership, and public-private partnership has become so crucial these days when the importance of private sector in the UN Food System Summit has been amply highlighted, and the role to be played in the value chain and in the overall economy. So that is another community of practice, and which is going on quite well. And I'm happy to say here, WTO has agreed to be a co-organizer of the public-private partnership community of practice in future. We will be working on the modalities with them, which will be very useful for both public and private sector. Now, community of practice on food law and food loss and waste. This is initiated by Deepika, who is doing PhD in Asian Institute of Technology and working with us as a research associate right now. And what we find in this community of practice is a kind of awareness which is missing. We all are so much busy in our research work, in our research contribution, in producing more and more, in providing a lot of inputs for agriculture. But often we forget that by avoiding loss and waste, we can minimize usage of too much inputs in the soil, with the key players, and we can do wonders. I can give just one example here, with the example of a plant protection. It has been worked out that if you can save 1% of the crop loss globally, if you save only 1% of the crop loss globally, you can feed 25 million people. It's a huge kind of a thing, and we need to see, like, if we can save 5 to 7% of avoid the loss, I think we can feed about 1.5 billion people in the world. And how many are hungry in the world? You have to see that. So the idea which I am giving is this food loss and waste needs special attention. And also, there are effects of the food loss and waste, which we are going to discuss today. That is the how this how the management of waste in the agriculture system. Today we are going to listen on the animal agriculture system for controlling greenhouse gas emission. It's a very, very important topic, and we have a young dynamic professor, Dr. Pramod Pandey, and we have two very well-known scientists, panelists, one from Bangladesh and one from Thailand. And then we will have Dr. Paul Taylor, technical coordinator of APARI, who will be moderating the whole show. I would like to stop here, and I would like to thank all of you for your presence, for joining the call, and I'm sure more and more people will join with time. And I'm told that more than 150 people have registered. So probably more people will be coming forward. And I may not be here for long. I have another meeting in next 15, 20 minutes. So I will listen as much as possible, but I'll go through the recordings. Thank you one and all once again. And back to you, Deepika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your thoughtful words and leadership. Now we will process a technical session, which will moderate Dr. Paul, who is technical coordinator of APARI. Dr. Paul, please over to you.
Good. Thank you, Deepika and Dr. Ravi, and welcome to all the online participants in today's FLAW COP. We have some excellent speakers and going to be a very exciting panel discussion, I'm sure. Now, personally, and I have an interest in greenhouse gas emissions, particularly coming from Australia, where we have struggled to, in the world, carbon emissions, we have struggled to get these under control. And one of the largest issues is to do with greenhouse gas emissions from large animal feedlots. And I've seen colleagues at my University of Melbourne, where I work in the soil science area, where they've been using lignite from brown coal, and Australia has plentiful resources of dirty brown coal, and they're trying to use lignite to mitigate nitrogen emissions in these high-intensity feedlots. So I'm quite interested in this area, and I'm looking forward to the presentations. Thank you. So I'll now proceed to introduce our keynote speaker for today. Professor Pramod Pandey is a highly accomplished researcher, educator, and public service contributor whose work has made a profound impact on sustainable livestock systems and environmental health. So please join me in welcoming Professor Pramod Pandey, a specialist at the University of California Cooperative Extension, Department of Population Health and Reproduction in the School of Veterinary Medicine, the University of California, Davis. Before I just hand over, I'd like to just briefly give a little bit of background. Professor Pandey brings with him decades of experience in the fields of animal waste management, water quality protection, and agricultural engineering, particularly focused on identifying solutions that address the twin challenges of public health and environmental sustainability. His research and extension efforts at the University of California, Davis, are centered around developing engineered-based solutions to control microbial pathogens from animal waste, a critical issue in safeguarding both environmental resources and food system integrity. Through his work, Dr. Pandey has advanced our understanding of microbial behaviour under varied environmental conditions and has contributed to practical science-based interventions that reduce contamination risks. His scholarly contributions are not only technical in nature, but also serve as a central bridge between academia, public policy, and farm-level application. From supporting regulatory frameworks to advising best practices in manure management, his work represents the kind of innovation and leadership that this community of practice seeks to promote across the Asia-Pacific region. So we are deeply grateful to Professor Pandey for taking the time to join us today. His presence underscores the importance of international collaboration in developing sustainable solutions to food loss and animal waste challenges, especially in the context of mitigating greenhouse gas emissions and enhancing climate resilience in livestock systems. With that, it's my great pleasure to now invite Professor Pramod Pandey to deliver his keynote address on this topic, New Strategies on Handling Waste in Animal Agricultural Systems for Controlling Greenhouse Gas Emissions. Professor Pandey, we're honoured to have you with us. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Thank you. Thank you for your kind introduction. Thank you, Deepika, for inviting me. And also thank you, Apari Director, for having me here. So I really appreciate. I just want to mention that the first country out of India I went was Bangkok, Thailand, and I visited AIT. And that was the time I started thinking that perhaps I should continue my study, or I should think of for higher study outside India. It's not like I did not like that work. I liked the work I was doing in India, and I will give you some example in my presentation. But visit to Bangkok, it's really created some kind of dynamics in me that I should look opportunity outside India. My background is kind of multidisciplinary, and I spend it on kind of 3-4 fields. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pandey, we have.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are hearing you clearly.
Yeah. So in each topic, I spend it almost like 4 to 5 years, and I have a pretty well developed lab. So I do on mathematical modeling as well as lab work, and then also I try to find a way to communicate university knowledge or lab-based knowledge into the field. And recently I completed one of a lab, which is just in dairy farm basically. And it's there are almost close to $2-3 million equipment. I hire farmers, local people to join the science day and also learn from basically what we can do using
Professor
the
Pandey,
science.
sorry for interrupt. Can you please make your full screen because we can see
Okay.
if possible.
Okay.
If
I
not
try to
possible,
make
it's
it.
okay.
I try to make the full screen.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I can try one more
Yeah.
time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I am showing kind of like full screen, but I don't know why it is you are not able
It's
to
okay.
see.
It's okay. If not possible, so we can
Yeah.
say that right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Rishi said you answered.
But are you able to see my screen or not?
No, now it
Not
still
yet,
is not.
Not
Before
yet.
that, we can see, but not
Oh.
now.
Not right now. Okay.
Yeah.
What about right now?
Yeah, in the process. Yeah, we can see right now.
Okay. So somehow I kind of like every 3 to 4 years, I'm changing my research drastically, and that's based on the requirement. Let's see. I have to. Slide is moving or not?
It is not moving. It's still in your fast slide you are seeing.
Okay, let me see. I will just.
Sorry, sir. Deepika, you
No
have his slide. You can share the slide.
Wait.
Deepika, you're mute.
Never mind. I
Yeah,
will
mute.
just restart my presentation. Then it will be all right. What about right now?
Your screen is not seeing.
Deepika, you are on mute.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, you are not able to see, sir.
Okay.
And actually, I have a PDF file.
No,
So-
no, no worry, no worry. I can.
Yes, sir.
I assume you are able to see right now the
Yes.
screen,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are
Yes.
able to.
and also slides moves.
Not yet, sir. Just try again. Not yet, sir. It's not movable.
Okay,
Okay.
just. Okay. I think it is moving right now, no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's moving?
Yes, sir. It's moving. Now it's better.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So coming back to the place where I'm working, it's a school of veterinary medicine. Certainly, it's a very honor to be in this place. I am able to communicate with the veterinarian, agriculture engineer, soil scientist, and environmental engineers. And this hospital where I work, or you can school of veterinary medicine where I work, it is, I think, right now the top ranked in the world. And it is a very highly multidisciplinary. It has a hospital for large animals, small animals, and equally we are also working on environmental issues. So it's kind of one health concept where you put together animal health, public health, environmental health, or water quality, air quality. So it's very fulfilling to work here. Now, if you now coming back to the topic, why I chosen this topic, animal waste. So if you see the human population, it's about 8 billion, and livestock population in the world is about 1 billion. But if you do the calculation, then we can see that about 18.2 billion tons waste we are getting from the animal side, and only 1.5 billion tons from human side. Now, most of the developed nations right now, they are almost 100%, they are treating the human waste. But still, the technology to treat the animal waste is way far behind. So most of the animal waste is still untreated, and it is applied to cropland. And the issues such as antibiotic residue, antibiotic resistance genes, and pollution contribution to groundwater, surface water, basically through when we use this animal waste as a fertilizer, only limited amount is retained in the soil and uptake by the plants. The rest it goes to the groundwater through leachage and percolations. And then when we use that water, either through groundwater pumping or direct irrigation from river, it comes back to again cropland. And of course, by drinking the polluted water, polluted food, eating polluted food, hospitalization, and antibiotic resistance, bacteria-driven diseases, those are common issues. And it's a really serious issue in developed countries where immunity and all these things is really going down. So I will introduce here something about American agriculture system. I don't know how many of you been to LA area, but if you drive from Sacramento to LA, there are places where you can basically half an hour you can drive 100 miles per hour and still you will see just the animal throughout the interstate. The right side top picture is about Harris Ranch, and it has 50,000 animal in one place. Now, left side in the top is about the lagoons where they retain the liquid waste, and those are almost 400 feet long, 250 feet wide, and 40 feet deep. So you can say that those are like manure lakes. And why we concerned about this? In general, we believe that US or European countries, they have a better water quality. And that's perhaps true if you compare India, China to America. But that is not absolutely true. In America, about 53% streams are contaminated, 80% coastal water is contaminated. More than 98% Great Lakes water is contaminated. 68% reservoirs are contaminated. Now, when we talk about the contamination, it doesn't mean that if you drink the water, somebody is going to die, but it is not deemed suitable for recreation. Forget about the drinking. So often there are restrictions for recreation. Now, if you look the individual parameters, why this water is contaminated, then you will find that bacteria load is the leading source of contamination. And most of those bacteria, they are coming from animal waste. Nutrients, that is another pollution. And of course, there is some contribution from chemical fertilizer, but again, majority is coming from animal waste side, especially in California. Now, this is a part of my study when I was doing PhD. I have a big field work as well as modeling work. So we are trying to model these streams, Issaquah Creek watershed, river water quality. So during summer, when I used to go to collect the samples, so often the bacterial load is very high, temperature is high, and it was very common to see in different reaches of the streams, you see all these dead fishes. So these are mostly basically animal waste driven issues because that water set was dominated by agriculture and pig manure was used heavily in that water set to fertilize the soybean and corn crop. Coming back to California, I just want to give you a sense that what is the mean of heavily confined feeding operation, how they compare with the human waste. So Merced and Kings County, those are just a small county in California. And even in just a Merced County, we have 240,000 dairy cows. And if you combine the waste from those cows, it is 10 times the sewage waste which is generated in Atlanta metro area. Atlanta has the biggest airport in the world. Similarly, in Kings County, we have about 155,000 cows, and the sewage sludge which is generated from dairy operation, that is about 2 times the sewage generated from a New York metro city area. So that's a huge. And how we reach to these situations, so we have to go a little bit history, how these farming operations, confined feeding operation evolved over the time. So in California, about 1991, we have 4,500 basically dairy farms. And the total dairy population of about 1.1 million. That is the second bar. And per farm, the cow population was about 252. But by 2021, number of farms went down from 500 to 195. So basically it became 1/3. And total cow population went up about 1.7 million. And per farm, the cow population also almost 5 times more, right now 1,438. So if you see the bottom graph and comparison between 1991 and 2021, so number of farm went down, total manure production went up. And of course, if you convert this into, or find a way to convert into renewable energy like biogas or heat energy, then you can basically per day produce about more than kind of 10 cubic million biogas just from these dairy digesters. Now, if you don't do anything, then it is causing the problem, environmental problem, risk to food. There are multiple issues. So very often there is a discussion that perhaps the issue is this confined feeding operations. We should go back to the conventional agriculture system. And I would say there are some valid points to argue that perhaps the traditional system was better because pollution was more uniformly distributed in larger areas. But let's see this data. So in beef operation, basically Texas produced the largest beef. So Texas has the largest population, about 3 million. But if you look about the center of this table, it's about California has 1.8 million cows, and it has almost 1 million acres of land. Now, if you want to move these 1.8 million cows in like conventional system, then you need about 30 million acres of land. So about 30% of California land, you just need to give to these cows. In Wisconsin, we have about 1.2 million dairy cows. And if you raise those cows in conventional, traditional way, you need to give about 59% land. In Iowa, we have about 19.2 million pig population, and land is just 36 million acres. And if you want to raise these pigs in conventional way, you need about 723 million acres of land. That is about 2009% basically. You need, I think, maybe 2000 times more bigger Iowa. So what I want to mention here that, of course, confined feeding operation, they have a certain negative impact on the environment, but also it is a business decision to meet the demand of the food supply. I think perhaps we are never going to get rid of this confined feeding system because of the business decision, market demand, and also the economy, because that's true that if you have a bigger operation, it financially it's make more sense. And that is the reason that in 1991 we have about 251 cows per farm. But right now those farms got out of business because they were not able to make any profit. So when the large farm size get bigger and bigger, financially you make more wise decision and you are able to make certain profit. For a smaller farm, it's very hard to survive. This is the way the waste handling done in California, basically. So these are the dairy operations. You can see that a huge amount of waste all around in these dairy farms are dispersed. Bottom two lines are bottom two pictures shows that how those cows are inside the barn, how the liquid is basically flushed inside the barn to take out the manure. And right side picture is about the flow of the manure. So if you see here, the right side, basically top picture is a dairy barn, then it flushed with the water, all the manure comes into the flush tanks. And from flush tanks, it goes to liquid solid separation. And then finally, you do composting for solid manure and do anaerobic lagooning, or just store that liquid portion in the lagoon, those 200 feet wide, 400 feet long, and 40 feet deep. Now, 40 feet deep means this is basically heavy laden with the particles. So beneath maybe 3-4 inches, there is no oxygen. So those are anaerobic, fully anaerobic reactors. And under anaerobic condition, most of you know that this manure has bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, and in the absence of oxygen, they produce GHG, and which we say biogas basically in traditional language. So the goal is how we can control or how we can mitigate the GHG emission from these lagoons, from the manure, which is stored in the pile form. I know that most of you are not going to open a dairy farm, but just I want to give an idea that let's say if you have a 2,000 cows, so you need those 100, like about 17 lanes, because in one lane you have about 160 to 170 cows, and you flush those lanes 3 times per day to take out the manure from those lanes. And each time you put the water for just 5 minutes. So total water per cow is about 160, 170 gallons per day per cow. Now, if you think that how much cow drink per day, that's only just 10 to 15 gallon per day cow is drinking, but 160 to 170 gallons we need just to wash the manure. And now here, I don't want to blame the cows. Same thing we are doing with the human also. Perhaps we are drinking maybe 2 liter water per day. But when it comes to toilet, we are maybe putting maybe 10, 15 or 20 gallon water. So that is I would say that the drawback are the negative impact on water and environment, the way we invented this waste disposal techniques.
Dr.
Now,
Pandey, may I
yeah.
ask you just please could you just speed up a little bit because we're running a little bit behind
Sure.
time now. Thank you.
Sure. How many minutes I do have?
Oh, if you could wrap up in 5 minutes,
10 minutes.
would be good. 10?
We have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 14 to 45 we will finish.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So these are the kind of programs in 2014-15 state government started, and actually I was when hired in this place, that was a kind of beginning of these programs. And from 2014 and 15, state government thought that perhaps they need to put money because most of the farmers, they cannot adopt any new technology because these are the technology which cost almost $1 million for liquid solid separator. If you want to put a dairy digester, it can cost you about $10 million. And most of the farmers, because of low milk price, they were not able to adopt these technologies. So from 2017, we started this program, Dairy Digester and Alternative Manure Management, where we can separate the liquid and solid. And that can basically reduce the volatile solid in those lagoons. And if you reduce basically volatile solid, then finally you reduce the GHG emission from those lagoons. And anyway, like if you have a manure, if you can reduce the moisture and bacteria, then all the GHG emission, they need 2 things. One is the moisture, another is bacteria. So you find the way to eliminate the bacteria moisture, then substantially you can reduce the GHG emission from this animal waste. And traditionally, because most of these animals were roaming or dispersed in the larger areas, so when these cows they defecated the manure, it dried very quickly. So there was no moisture, and also because of heat, bacteria died. So that's why traditionally we did not have much GHG emission from animal waste. Now for dairy digester also, if you see that alternative manure management, basically it started program in 2017. And this program started with, in the beginning, $10 million. By 2019, it became $35 million per year. And that money went to dairy farmers. Then 2020, we got a little bit COVID, and then program went down, but again, it is ramping up. Same thing with dairy digesters. In 2015, we have $10 million. By 2018, we were giving almost $80 million to different dairy farmers to install these dairy digesters. So we have right now by around 130 dairy digesters and 199 about alternative manure management project in California. And for a dairy digester, government provided about $2.5 million. And if they wanted to install alternative manure management, about $0.7 million. So if you exclude that COVID period, basically, for these two programs, manure management and alternative, the finance from the state government were exponentially growing. And I hope that in future also there will be a similar support. Now, what I'm doing today in California for animal waste management, I started doing that in India in 2000. And that was the time I was exposed to these rural area. And these are the type of digester you see in India. Those cost about $100 to $200 per digester, but in California, it's about $10 million. Of course, these digester you can run with the 5-6 cows, and in California, you need about 2,000 cows to make it profitable. Because we talk a little bit about the food, then also I want to bring some information about the food safety. So most of you know that US Constitution was established in 1787, but almost 120 years beyond the US Constitution, there was no law in America about the food safety or food security. So basically anything you want to sell, you can sell. And the biggest, the act actually was the 1906 Pure Food and Drug Acts, when people started paying attention that perhaps we need to pay attention on food safety. And eventually that became FDA in 1930. But if you go back beyond that, then everything started in 1848 by Lewis, when he was hired as a professor to do some chemical analysis in agricultural product. Now, I brought this issue about mislabeling and misrepresentation about your product, because that right side, that image shows that in this kind of advertisement were very common in 1880 and 1870, that one healthy man is using one basically medicine, fake medicine, and pretending that he can defy the death. And people were selling these kind of products in the market. And that was the reason, basically, people started thinking that perhaps we need a certain control. These are advertisement from 1880 and 1870 that people basically, anything they can sold, they were selling. These were for Coca-Cola in 1880, that it was advertised that, you have to start Coca-Cola drinking early, basically feeding your children if you want to make them healthy. Or if you want to live happy, then you have to drink the Coca-Cola. One of the biggest, I would say that person who formed the FDA was Harvey Wiley. He was the main person. Basically, he realized that when you are punishing the people, that's not enough. Or even if you have one agency that cannot motivate everyone to be fair in product labeling and marketing. Like Einstein also, he did a very good comment that if people are just behaving good because of fear, then perhaps we need to be sorry. So in 1902, when William Harvey, he was basically chemist, and he hired a poison squad. He wanted to, he was not a very big inventor or scientist, but he wanted to prove that we need certain regulations. And he hired a poison squad, basically. He offered them that I can provide a free food and free living condition, but I am going to prepare the food. And in the food, he put certain chemicals and prepared the food, and he offered those students, and many of them got sick. And his experiment also received a very bad name, but also it created an opportunity for a public or government agency to look seriously how we can improve the food safety. This is his experiment actually 1902, 1903 he was doing. He was advertising that, if you want to get money, you want to get free food, you have to eat my food, and many agreed. Many people, they died, some they got sick, but finally he paved the way for FDA. Now with this slide, I will end my presentation. What I wanted to bring to my presentation: environmental issues, the importance of food safety, and also awareness. We don't need to be a great scientist to put our facts in the public. I think that we can put in very simple way, like Harvey Wiley, basically, is the father of FDA, and he was never a great scientist, but he find the way to convince the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Pandey, for such a richful and insightful, knowledgeable. I hope we will aware about that, so we can do. And now we are transit our panel discussions, where we have the privilege of hearing from two highly respected experts who brings valuable reasons. And after the first panel is Dr. Nitish Debunath. He is National Coordinator on One Health Bangladesh program, and also Professor Chittong Veterinary and Animal Science University. Dr. Debunath is widely recognized for his pioneering leadership in advancing on One Health program, which is in Bangladesh and beyond. His multidisciplinary expertise span veterinary science, public health, and environmental sustainability and institutional collaborations. And the Dr. Devnath, may I kindly invite you as a reflection on following the questions. Um, a pioneer of One Health movement in Bangladesh, how can cross-sectoral coordination among all animal health, public health, and also environmental health agencies via how do we improve the management practices in livelihood and livestock system and reduce the associated with emissions? Dr. Devnath, please over to you. Thank you,
Thank you very
sir.
much. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Deepika. Thank you very much. And thank you, the keynote presenter. It's a wonderful presentation, very, very informative. Thank you very much from my side. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to share some of our experiences, what we are doing in Bangladesh in particular. One of the things that I would like to first mention that, we very recently revised our One Health strategic framework. And importantly, one of the components of this strategic framework is to elaborate the activities of environmental issues that contribute to the One Health approach. And one of the components of our this environmental issues is to deal with the waste management. And when I talk about these things, it does include very many things, but obviously, what is coming out of our animal intensive production system. That is a one thing that we have reflected very well. And that is, originally when we developed this strategic framework earlier, we had one strategic framework that was in 2017 to 2022. At that time, those issues were not very well reflected. Now, this is one important thing that we realized. This is a very important component that we must reflect in our planning, in our strategy, as well as in our action. This is one positive thing that I would like to share with you today. But more importantly, what I would like to really reflect the waste management issue in our context. Very recently, it is over the last 4 or 5 years, Bangladesh has been implementing one big project provided by with the support of the World Bank, what we call LDTP, that is Livestock Dairy Development Project. Under that project, it is nowadays a sort of World Bank approach. Whenever you take any loan from the World Bank and any development project, you must take care of the environment. And in particular, when it is in the livestock sector, this particular issue is very relevant about today's discussion. Methane emission, NO2 emissions, waste disposal. These are three important things that you have to deal very meticulously. This is what one issue that we are dealing with. And as I just for your information, Bangladesh is a very small country, and 56,000 square mile area, but it has a lot of people, 170 million people. But when you think about the livestock population, that's even more. Almost 26 million large ruminants we have. We have more than 30 million small animal ruminants, and we have 385 million poultry. This is a sort of big figure. Now we can even imagine how close proximity between human population and animal population could be. And in addition to that, how the environment could get polluted out of all these waste product coming out from the animal population. So under this LDDP, a very indicative initiative they have taken out what we call the 30, net zero emission, poverty elevation, no poverty, and also unemployment. Based on these things, what we are at the moment doing in a project that is very strongly include that has strongly included how this methane emission or disposal could be waste disposal could be very probably maintained. And for that thing, sort of three issues they have very strongly reflected. I would say that they have what they call improve risk management and resilience of livestock production system, how to low density of animal population, high to low ruminantary methane emissions, and low to high productivity, and more importantly, a sort of market-led manure management. Based on these four pillars, this project has started in 2019, and at the very beginning, they were made a sort of assessment how much emission is going on currently out of our current production system, and they put a target that by 2025 they will be reduced to 50% emission reduction. And for that thing, they have adopted a sort of assessment procedure with the support of the FAO, and they have been regularly assessing how much of that coming up from the cattle population, in particular from dairy as well as from the beef. And that, approach, before that particular project, it was only in a table talk. Never it has gone to the farming practice that how this particular problem, that is emission, gas, what's called methane emission or climate change is a big issue for us, and we want to really achieve a zero emission. And for that thing, it has been continually monitoring now. And what we can see here, a very interesting findings that, there is a sort of comparative study, this project area, where there is a, LDDP project, and they have included a large number of farm for this particular project. And they are also having a control farming system where there is not that project is working. And comparing their intervention, and intervention, as I mentioned earlier, the intervention is high in productivity and lower intensity of the production, and how using proper efficiency of food production, food conversion, and emission can be reduced within the production system. That is the target, and for that thing, a project has been working, and they have started to, as I said, this is not only in the dairy, it also includes some of the beef production system as well. And for that thing, the key message that we are trying to really bring out of that, that sort of production system should be very improved, and lower emissions should be monitored, and finally the performance should be really project time. They would like to predict and develop a system what we call climate resilient livestock system. And for that thing, we are bridging the sectoral knowledge gaps via stronger extension innovation services, including enabling the artificial intelligence. A little bit of us use that. Productive system-based dairy and beef cattle, and also a breeding system, and aiming at lactation and growth efficiency following national breeding plans. And of course, there are other, disease prevention and other system. And what we can see here, the engagement of the grassroots level people, and because they like to have more production. And when you really advocate for proper feeding, and that can really contribute towards reducing the emission, that is one thing. And we have also very close extension people observation for that, regular monitoring for that, and generating a data. I would not say that it has made a big transformation right at the moment, but what we can see, the results indicating that emission is being reduced. People are getting concerned and aware of that thing, and also, less number of production farm, but density number goes, but the productivity goes high. So those approaches are being practiced under this production system. And eventually that, goes to our One Health practices. We encourage as a One Health community, whenever we have a discussion in our environmental aspects of One Health practices, we really focus on that one. And last one that I would like to mention, a sort of value chain based manure, management and industrial management that is also being taken out in this particular project. So this is a sort of initiative in compliance with our One Health approach in Bangladesh, and we are getting encouraging results. And I believe if we can really continue these activities, our production system will and harness the practices that we are trying to introduce in our livestock production. Having said that, this is a sort of integrated approach that we would like to introduce, and we are sharing knowledge with our other colleagues and how we can impact and the climate change and also the contribution of livestock system in the whole One Health approach would be enhanced. And I think I will stop here with these words. If I have any question, I might come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Devnath. Very, very interesting.
Thank you, Dr. Devnath. Now, Dr. Paul, please over to you.
Well, we're running a little bit short on time, but we'll get to our second panelist. Do you want to introduce Dr. Throngsak, or shall I? Oh, okay. So, all right. So I'll hand it over to Dr. Throngsak Ponbumrang for Konkan University, I believe. And then after that, we'll have a quick panel discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Paul Taylor and Debita. I am Thamrongsak Ponbumrang. Now I am in Bangkok. During the last 2 years, I joined the APARI in the project with the Laos, and we have the project on SPS management to enhance exporting of livestock from Laos to neighboring country. I just want to share the experience between Thai and Laos. Exactly, we are the neighbor, and most of the technology we will be exchanged, and then many of them are we can share. And during the last 10 years, I joined the FLAW project, and my main project is on the dairy development in Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Thailand. I have visited many times to Bangladesh and many times in Myanmar and some in India, and we do some many things to develop also the farm management and also coming something with we'll introduce how to reduce the waste from the dairy farms. So something very much different from Dr. Pendy is that our country, our small country, and number of livestock compared to the people and compared to the land are quite small, especially in Laos. They are the country that do not have the dairy cattle. Only last year that they introduced 3,000 of dairy cattle from Vietnam, and that is the first group of the dairy cows. But for Thailand, we just have celebrated our 100 years dairy development in Thailand, and then our dairy is still in the smallholders. We have now about 15,000 dairy farms with average of 20 cows per farm. So that is very small. And then when we talk about the waste from the dairy or from the beef cattle or whatever, many farmers feel that the manure or the dung or the urine from the farms is not the waste, but they consider it a byproduct or considered secondary products. Because if they are doing a good management and good waste management, they can turn back that to the income also. What we introduce to the small dairy, if the farm with 10 or 15 cows, we are very successful during the last 10 years to introduce what we call the 3-in-1 model. That means that the farmers can collect the cow manure and also with the urine together, and then put that into the very cheap biogas plant, biogas digester, and that will be enough to produce methane and then produce the fuel for the biogas and for the farm use. And then later on, if it is big enough, we can use for small machine. And the wastewater from the farms, we can drain out to the pasture. So the farmers can have enough pasture, can have enough grass to feed to the animal. So that is the kind of recycling. And then we can call the zero waste. Because one dairy cow need about 100 liters of water per day. 100 liters of water together with the manure can come to the biogas, and the 100 liters of water, if they drain to the pasture, that will be sufficient to produce pasture even in the dry season, come back to the cow. That is for the small farm. And then for the bigger farm, we introduce different mechanism or different technology. For example, right now, a farm with more than 100 cows, they will already accept the technology of the manure separating machine. So we separate the solid manure and then the liquid manure. Liquid manure can go to the digester and again producing the biogas and enough for coming back to the electric generator. And the solid manure that will become the fertilizer. So this is what we are doing. And for example, in Thailand, now we have the incentive program. If the farm introduce this kind of management on the farm, like they have the separator, they have the digester, or they have the good practice in the waste management, they will get higher milk price at the return. So this is how we are doing. And also on the research side, we are very much concerned that the methane emission is exactly the waste of the feed, the nutrient that is waste that has not been used. So we will introduce the more balanced nutrient. If they have the balanced nutrient with the sufficient energy, sufficient protein, and that is equivalent to the animal requirement, the productivity will be high efficient and the waste will be lower. So that is what we can do with the farmers. And if we measure the output in terms of methane emission per kg of milk or methane emission per kg of beef, that will be coming better if the farm productivity is increased. So I want to share about that. If any question, please.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you, Dr. Bunker. Now, Dr. Paul,
Yes.
please over to you, our question and session.
Okay. Well, with the time we have remaining, could feel free to type your questions in the chat or use the raise a hand feature and we'll invite you to speak. Okay, any questions? Or anything in the chat?
If you have any questions, so please feel free to ask our panelists and our speakers, and then we will move forward.
Thank you very much. May I ask something from Bangladesh,
Thank you.
Majedur Rahman.
Thank you.
Now I am working with an Solidarity Network Asia. It's a green dairy partnership project in Bangladesh. The today's session is very interesting, which was presented by the professor and totally match with our projects. That's why my question it's a different the category because the researcher present most of the things in the US based and some of his experience sharing from the Indian subcontinent. And the Nitish sir already mentioned that is totally matches with our project that it is a demand of time to reduce the GHG emission from the dairy industry. And we are also targeting the 30% of GHG will be reduced and we will measure it. And we are applying some technology like the biodigester, vermin compost production, even the feed efficiency or feed balance, land use, manure management, a lot of things we are doing together. And these will be measured by the life cycle assessment system. My question is that we need from the researcher or from the experience from the Nitish sir already mentioned from the One Health, that what are the most effective and how we can control the dairy waste and how we can reduce the emission in a low cost system in Bangladesh. What technology we can use, and it should be adaptable to the farmers, especially in Bangladesh, the smallholder farmers. One is biodigester, and another one already mentioned, someone in panel discussion, that is the dewatering machine or the drying the biosalary. It is, in my experience, it is not feasible for the smallholder farmers in Bangladesh, because in Bangladesh they need 3-phase electricity line. It is not available to everywhere. And it is not working good because I tried it in my project. So I seek the suggestions. If you have any experience, or you can share me the document, including the today's presentation, you can share the easy system and easily adaptable on waste management, which really benefited the farmers, which really reduces the carbon emission and improving the environment through livestock or dairy waste management.
This question is to me, is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You can take it.
So, well, when I visited farmers in 2014, 15 in California, basically, so the first thing I faced is the farmers, they told in the front that, Pramod, what you are talking, it's nice, but we are here to sell the milk to make the profit. And of course, we don't want to damage the environment, but there are really very limited room they can, additional money they can spend on taking care of environment. Now, by 2015 and 16, the government money was very, very important actually. So one thing is the scale issue, and another thing is that somewhere money from the government must come to support these technology. Otherwise, no matter it is Bangladesh or India or America, in majority of the countries, farmers are not able to afford these technologies. If it is a small farm, then even it is a bigger issue. So we are trying to develop some smaller scale technology, but again, it's very often it's not basically feasible or profitable.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Natish, would you like to comment on that?
No, my expertise is not to develop in this technology, but I agree, in a condition like Bangladesh, where resource competition is very high, and the government sometimes, they promote it, advocate it, but investment in this area is not that high level. But there is one advantage that, this climate change fund that is, a little bit available in Bangladesh at the moment, maybe some international one. You need to our colleagues, those who are interested to have this one research agenda, they can bid for that one and try for this one. But I'm sure that a sort of international collaboration will be very useful for that one. My background is not to really develop some technology in this line. I can use the benefit of that, but not really the technology. Thank you.
Good. Okay, is there any further questions or comments that anyone would like to make relevant to their situation? Okay. Professor Pramod, would you like to sum up on any points there that you'd like to finish up on?
Yeah, I mean, even this fund, which is coming from climate initiative or carbon credit, that is also with a huge level of uncertainty. So for example, I built a very close relationship with the dairy farmers. So I have one friend who moved from Holland in 1978 with just $100 in his pocket. And his name is Dennis Da Silva. And he has right now 4,000 acres of land, 7 dairy farms. And last year he told to me that, Pramod, right now it seems that I'm going to make more money on manure than milk. And perhaps it was true in 2022-23. But right now, the carbon price, which 3 years ago, it was $400 per cow, $300 per cow. Right now, it's about $30 and $40. So many investments right now, yeah, it's a little bit risky and they're not so profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I think we should perhaps wrap that up now, Deepika.
Yeah, Dr. Paul. So now we are closing remark, and as we close today's session, if you have anyone questions, feel free to ask. Still, we have time, and after that, if not, it will be thankful. I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to all our speakers, panelists, and our active engagement participants, which is special thanks to keynote speaker, Professor Pramod Pandey, who are our speaker, and our panelists, Dr. Nitish Debonat and Mr. Thompkins Saad, for your valuable perspective. And we also thanks Dr. Paul, who's technical coordinator, and he will take care of this session. It's very short notice of APARI for his continuous vision and guidance fostering platforms such as it's impactful. So now the flow of community of practice is driven by a collective spirit and advanced sustainable agriculture practices across the Asia Pacific and your continued involvement is what brings and vision of to life. And as we know, like Professor Pramod Pandey said, his friends, they got a dairy to like a manual, because as we know, everything is impactful right now. We use everything. So if we are not doing food waste and loss, so sorry to someone. And now we look forward to seeing you again in our future sessions. Until then, stay well, and thank you so much once again joining for this today's session. Goodbye and warm regards. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we will don't forget to, we will take one group pictures. So I will take group pictures together. Please open your camera right now. Smiley face. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you. Stay tuned. Our next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devika. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Bye.
Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pramod.
Bye.
Okay, Pramod ji.